Namaste and good morning to you. My name is Juliana Smolensky from Shantivibrantliving. Living. I would like to talk to you today about the upcoming retreat I'll be hosting in Italy with my friend Gwen Geerlings from Tantra Healing Belgium. We'll be doing an altogether 7-day retreat with a 1-day introductory free class on the 19th of April in the Yoga Farm, Italy, located in Sora, Italy, or just outside of that, in between Naples and Rome. It's an amazing place to relax, unwind, and connect deeper with yourself. But before I talk about the retreat, I would like to talk about my experience with Tantra because there seems to be a lot of misconceptions about what Tantra is and what that looks like in modern practice. So I will just stay on what my path has been with Tantra. So about 3 years ago, I was living in the south of Holland with my ex-boyfriend, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I developed some crippling anxiety and depression. I didn't leave the house, and that was, again, quite normal for me. I didn't like interacting with people. It was really difficult for me to speak to other people. Answering the phone felt like it was really scary. I wasn't working. I was having a hard time finding a new job. We were struggling with what we were going to do with our apartment and my visa, and finding work, and all these things were just gnawing at me and making me go crazy, and we were fighting a lot. And so we were already seeing a woman in Holland who works in kind of life coaching. She does beginning meditation, introductory courses, and she was offering, I think, a month-long or a 5-week course. And he and I were taking it in separate groups, and then we had a private consultation with her. And she pointed out to me something that he felt that I needed to work on, amongst other things. But this is the one that kind of stood out to me and was like, okay. So he told her that I thought that love was for sale. That every time that I would do something from him, I automatically expected him to act a certain way or respond a certain way. And to an extent, that was actually really true. If I brought him to America to meet my family, and I did expect him to be grateful and to want to stay together and to help me with my immigration to Holland. And I just thought that was what love was. When you love somebody, you want to help them, and when they do something for you, you want to also do something for them. And they taught me, or they said to me, that's not unconditional love. Love unconditionally isn't quantifiable. There is no ticket price on love. There's no exchange of love. It's not like that. It's not you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's unconditional. And I felt completely attacked. Oh, so everyone else has, everyone else can have unconditional love and I'm the only one. And it just went into an even worse place. And then we kind of reached out to people who were teaching Tantra in Holland or in Belgium. And we argued about what we should send to them because they asked us to said 5 things that we wanted to improve in our relationship, and we argued even about that. So it was getting into a place where we would just argue. The arguments would escalate. They would go into these emotional things. My emotions would every day be going like this. My thoughts would every day be going like this. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't living my best life. I didn't know what to do next. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to kind of go away. So I asked one of my friends from high school what I saw on Facebook. She looked like she was living a pretty good life. And I asked her, like, oh, where did your Facebook profile come from? And she told me, she's a teacher, that on her school vacations, she just does volunteer projects around the world. So she did one working with turtles, and then the one that I liked was when she did a volunteer project working with elephants in northern Thailand. And so I kind of looked at that and I was like, okay, I'm going to Thailand. And I had never been to Asia before in my life. I didn't know anything about Thailand. I just said I'm going. So I did the whole backpackers thing. I traveled through Southeast Asia like thousands of other people my age are doing right now. And it was, backpacking in general is, I think, always life-changing because it does take you out of this workflow, this kind of robotic mindset that I have to make money to move forward, when you can just relax and flow and float, and sometimes you even run out of money. It really puts things into perspective. And eventually I found my way to Copenhagen, which is in the Gulf of Thailand. And this place, I think, is one of the most special places in the world. I went to university in Ithaca, New York, which is really similar to, Berkeley or Portland, one of these really progressive, liberal, hippie type states, or cities, sorry. And I thought that the hippies in Ithaca were OD. I did the whole living off the grid and living in a commune type of thing. And Copenhagen just blew my socks off. It was just all of these dreadlocked, super tan hippies who just live in Copenhagen and live this like super lush life, and everyone is just kind of chilling. And I remember being like, what is this place? And everyone is into yoga and spirituality, but it wasn't spirituality as I knew spirituality. It was beyond religion. And I knew that I didn't want to be a part of a religion already at that time, because I find that the dogmas in religion hold them back, and the structures of organized religion take away from the actual meaning of the spirituality. But to go into this deeper realm of spirituality, it really blew my socks off, and it just combined everything from my past together. And then I found Agama, and everything in my life changed. Agama yoga is, wow. So a lot of the teachers and the students in Agama will wear white, and I'm sorry if this is speaking out of term. I don't have their consent to speak on their behalf. But the principle is that white is the color of yang, and so it's more progressive to accumulate more yang energy, since we generally tend to already have a pretty abundant source of yin energy. So they like to, of course, balance them, but cultivate more yang energy. So everyone is wearing white because white is the color associated with yang. And everything is super lush and tropical, and the way that people walk is just with such a relaxation, and they have this look on their face like as if they're all constantly having good sex, like not just every day, like their whole life is the feeling that you have after good sex, and they just look at you like, hi, how are you? And I've never felt like that before, where you can just look at a stranger and hold their gaze and just feel seen and accepted. And that's continuously what I found at Agama. It's feeling seen and accepted and loved, real unconditionally, in a way I never experienced before. And I took a Tantra course with them, and the teachers at that time were Muktananda and Justine, who are exes. And again, I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, but they blew my mind, because the way that Justine would speak about Mukta was in no way the way that I speak about my exes. It was as if she still loved him, even though they weren't together, and she didn't love him. Like, I've held on to feelings for my exes, and so I can think about them and still love them, but that's not where she was at. Like, she loved him, she loved his partner, she loved his daughter, and it wasn't because he was her ex or because they were lovers or she held on to feelings for him. It was because she loved herself, and from there, she could just love endlessly everything. You could see when she spoke to you. I've met people who talk about love and who say namaste, and they don't mean it. But then when she looks you in the eye and just says, I don't even know what she would say, hi, you just feel like, oh, this woman actually just loves everything. It's not one of these pretentious, fake type of, I love everything and I'm floaty and glowy and beautiful and great. That's more of just the ego that I've felt, especially when I lived in California, and you have a lot of these kind of California type yogis who are so self-obsessed that they have to be more humble than you, more spiritually evolved and more, unconditional than you. Anyway, so when I would hear her talk, I was really amazed at what unconditional love could look like, no matter what his decision was or what anyone else's decision was. And I was always thinking about, because my boyfriend and I were struggling, but she loved him no matter what he did, not because she was attached to him, but because that's where she was at. That's where her abundance was. She could just love really unconditionally. And I was like, okay, that's what I want. I don't want my boyfriend to think that I only love him if he follows these standards that I have for him. I want him to know. And I want everyone to feel. And I want to feel that I love them, that I love him, that I love myself. No matter what I do, no matter what they do, I want to be in so much harmony and so much peace that nothing can take me down. And that's exactly what I saw at Agama. That's what I fell in love with at Agama. Justine gave us this kind of challenge to, when we wake up in the morning, make a mantra, I love myself, and say it 10,000 times before you get out of bed. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. And at that time, I started traveling with this guy who has become one of the most influential people in my life. And I asked him, because he has the capacity to love, even if I would get mad at him and I would say, oh, you're like this, and we would have some kind of argument and there would be confrontation, and he would just turn around and say, I think that's a projection more of your internal state. Do you think that's actually true? Or do you really want to say that to me? Is that really what you mean? And he didn't say it to blame me, because I've had that in the past where I would get upset with someone and they would say, well, why don't you tell me how you really feel, in a patronizing way? But he was genuinely asking, like, is that how you feel? Is that what you want to say to me? Is that where we're going to go? And he only said it to help me improve. I've never been spoken to like that before. I've only been spoken to like that when people are trying to blame me and make me feel bad. Or at least that's how I felt. And so I thought about it. And no, I didn't need to project like that onto him. I was just taking my internal state and trying to throw it on him and blame him, instead of confronting whatever it was inside of me that made me want to feel like that, or want to express myself in that way. And I asked him, how can you do that when I'm being so mean to you and I'm saying all this nasty stuff to you? How is it you can just, with compassion, still want to help me, still say to me, is that what you want? Just see in me this goodness that I don't even see in me. And bring it out, spark it. And he said, because I love myself. And I was like, so there was something there with loving myself that I needed to find. So I practiced Justine's practice. And I said every day before I got out of my bed, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. And then I found that I don't love myself. It was a lie. It actually felt draining and painful to say, because it was so untrue. Not only did I not love myself, I didn't like myself. In fact, I almost hated myself. I could come up with more negative things that I didn't like about myself than positive things that I liked or loved about myself. So then I wondered, if I don't even like myself, how or why can I expect other people to like myself for me? I was relying on other people to tell me what they saw inside of me that I didn't even see inside of me. And that was one of the most difficult realizations. And so I wanted to learn how to love myself. Because as I saw with my friend and with Justine, when you love yourself, everything else is just love. Everyone you just love is just an extension of the love that you have for yourself. and you can just connect to them and love them and cherish them without losing a part of yourself, cultivating happiness inside of yourself and just sharing it. There's no need to lose it or to attach it or to take it outside. To just stay inside, stay grounded in yourself, and love yourself from inside out. And that is how unconditional love works. That is the power. And everything else just follows suit. So this realization completely transformed me. And I knew that that was the kind of person I wanted to be. I didn't want to be in misery. I didn't want to take my emotions out on my partner. I didn't want to have uncontrolled emotions. I didn't want to feel things that I didn't want to feel and not know how to do about my life. And the minute that I chose love, everything else just responded and escalated. And it turned into a life where I could just shed love outward. And everyone and everything that I met shared that love with me and gave me their love back. It is the most incredible transformation, but I never would have ever guessed that life could be as amazing as it has been. I never knew that my life could transform. And a lot of it is just by transforming inside of myself, just growing inside of myself and developing that love within. When you love within, it just shines out. There's no way it can go away. It can't go down. Maybe you get used to it. And then everything just goes up. Everything harmonizes. Everything steps it up a notch. The people that are in my life, the way that my life goes, things that I do, are more incredible than any of my wildest dreams. When I was 16, my biggest ambition was to get a boyfriend and maybe move to Europe. And I did that. Next, who knows? You know, every day, just going higher. And so a lot of what I want to do in this retreat is to share this abundant, flowing love with everyone that I meet, and to give an in-depth course for people to transform their lives into one that's thoroughly satisfying and nourishing. So we have a one-day free information session on the 19th of April, a 2-day introductory course on the 20th and 21st, and then from the 22nd to the 26th, maybe I'm wrong about the dates, maybe it's the 21st or the 25th, we have the masterclass. But I would really love to see you there, to share this inner joy with you, and to help other people that start in the same way. Maybe it doesn't have to be chronic anxiety and depression, but just stillness of life, no joie de vivre. Bringing that love of life into your life is what I want to do in this retreat. So if you feel like you could benefit or know somebody who would benefit, please join us in the amazing yoga from Italy. We would love to have you. Namaste.